All right, guys, so here we go. We are doing our second part of our lecture today. Most important thing that you are doing is checking out my wall. The second part of the lecture is going to be in blue. So everything you need that I'm adding in addition is going up in blue. I have been incredibly kind, so please make sure everything you are doing is in blue. Now, while you're watching this, whether you're doing with me now, which you are, second period, or if you're tomorrow, first period, you are more than welcome to do boards with me. So, as we go either today or tomorrow, when you come in, you should bring a board, and you're not going to show me. You won't know in the video you hear me say, show me what you got. You don't have to show me, but I would still go along with me and see if you get the answers right, because I will be going over the right answers. Sounds good? Okay, so, cannot stress, everything you need is up here. Okay, so we're going to pick up at European conquest. Here in South Asia. I have drawn 2 lines. Everything I'm drawing in blue is everything you need from the second part of the lecture today. So Europeans are going to start invading Southeast Asia. So our Ferdinand Magellan is going to be the first one to sail around the tip of Africa. No, Vasco da Gama is going to be the first one to sail around the tip of Africa. Once he gets around the tip of Africa, all of a sudden the Indian Ocean basin is wide open. All of a sudden, Europeans are taking over. So in Southeast Asia, we have the Spanish. They're going to take over the Philippines. They're going to name it after King Philip, which is why we have the Philippines. The Dutch are going to start controlling Indonesia, and that's a big deal because they're going to dominate Indian trade till 7 Years' War. Okay, so the Dutch are going to control Indonesia, okay, until the 7 Years' War. Now, our Russians, they are going to overthrow the Mongols. The Russians are going to overthrow the Mongols finally. Okay, we're going to have a lot of overthrowing of Mongols here going on this week. First one to do it is going to be the Russian. First one to do is actually going to be the Muslims. But we're talking about the Russians right here. When the Russians overthrow the Mongols, they're going to expand into the Caucasus, which is the southern regions of Russia. They're going to go north as well into Siberia. Okay, Siberia, is that a good place to be or a bad place to be? Yeah, it's really, really cold, really, really remote, and no one really likes being there. So what's going to happen is once the Russians expand into Siberia, we're going to have some rebellion and some missionary work, but mostly the Russians are going to use it as their prison. They just send you to Siberia. Have you ever heard that phrase? You know, what are you going to do, send me to Siberia? No. Your mother never used that? No. Oh, okay. Well, my mother did. And that's kind of like, I'm going to send you as far away from humans as I can, and that would be Siberia. The Russian population is going to expand. Now, the 7 Years' War is going to be a trade war. It's a trade war, and it is going to be fought over the right to have between trading companies, the English versus the Dutch. Okay, and it's going to piggyback off of 7 Years' War is going to come about. Now, I'm writing way over here, so join me. You also have the 100 Years' War, which is pre 7 years. It is English versus French. Okay, and the reason why it's important, it creates rivalry between England and France. Who wins? England. The English win. Okay. England will dominate New World and ocean trade. Parentheses after parentheses Spain is still first for now. But more powerful than France. Okay. Will cause 7 years war to become the World War. That's why. Okay, so you have the 100-Year War, which is pre-7 Years War. It's the English versus the French. It creates a rivalry between England and France. Now, England and France became friends during World War II. Okay, during World War I, they were friendly because they both united against Wilhelm II. However, it's during World War II that the English and the French actually started liking each other and actually started getting along. Because of that, they put away their hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of competition, which is why England and France today get along pretty well. They still hate each other a little bit because you can't just throw away your culture. Your culture is based on hating each other, and it's based on the 100 Years War. But the 100 Years War is really the start of this hatred, and this is going to happen. This happens, and it makes England and France compete against each other in a major way. This competition will later, which is why it's super significant, will eventually cause the 7 Years War. The 7 Years War is why we have the French and Indian War here in the United States. Have you heard of that? Yes.
Why did England and France come from World War II? I thought France was an Axis power.
In World War II? No.
Did they
France, they get taken over really quickly, but it's not, they're not, in the French government is not saying, hey, let's be German. They get invaded really quickly. So they kind of fall, and then they have a lot of the French military that do escape France are going to fight to get their way in. They're going to lead the charge in Normandy. So France falls really quickly, but it's a Vichy government during World War II that's in control of France, not actual France. So it's the English and the United States are held in high regard now in France because we liberated their country. So that's a big change. So, 100 Years War is a big deal because it causes all of the rivalry between England and France. It's a big deal because England and France will spend the next 900 years competing against each other. Okay? Eventually, England will become the world power, but France will still hate them for eternity, which is going to cause a lot of problems for them. And eventually, we'll lay the foundation for the 7 Years War, which is the First World War. And it's a trade war. It's essentially fought between English and the Dutch. The Dutch get jealous. I mean, the Dutch are fighting the English, so the Frenchies are like, yeah, you're fighting the English? Yeah, I want to kill some English. We'll help you. And that's how the French get involved. Okay, so your 7 Years War, it's a trade war, and that's the biggest thing about that. So, when we're talking about our major trade and how that all those things are going, the Columbian Exchange is the next big thing that's going to come about. Now, your Columbian Exchange is the global diffusion of goods, plants, and diseases. We're going to have Christopher Columbus go to the New World. With that, he's going to bring a ton of issues. Okay, it's the first time the Americas are exposed to a lot of things. They suffer a lot. They estimate between 3 million to 100 million are going to be killed. 17 million to 1.3 million. That's kind of a big range. So we're not exactly sure how many Americans they were, but they're going to get wiped out. They're known, the known world, Europe, Africa, and Asia are going to benefit in a massive way. So when we talk about New World exploration, the New World suffers. They do get cool things like horses, cows, tomatoes, guns. No, the Old World gets tomatoes and stuff like that. Eventually they will get guns, of course. But yeah, so diseases is going to be one of the biggest things. Smallpox is a huge thing that's going to come over and it's going to kill them. In 1519, we're going to have Aztec Empire is going to fall because of it. Crops and animals, we're going to have potatoes, maize, and beans, which is from the New World, is going to go. We're going to get horses, pigs, cattle, and chicken, which is pretty cool. And migration of people is going to be a huge thing. So, yes. Is this 17 million? They're estimated. We don't know how many people are actually over there. It's between 17 million to 1.3 million. So on the low side, at least 1.3 million people died immediately. Or 17 million people. a little bit of a range. Yeah, it's a pretty big range. So we're not really sure. So when we talk about migration of people that's going to be opening up, we have enslaved Europeans, which are going to be triangular trade, North America, South America, and Caribbean. There should be enslaved Africans. I don't know why. Is this going to be over attendance? If it is, I'm going to be so pissed. Is that it? Yes, ma'am.
You said
I know, but I just gotta yell at Jessica. Alright, so if you look at my far wall, I'm gonna jump all the way over there where it says the end of feudalism. Okay, so the first thing it says Little Ice Age. It's 300 years of cooler temperatures. I'm on the very, very last panel. You're gonna see it way over there. I'm gonna put blue over there in just a second. It says Little Ice Age is 300 years of cooler temperatures. The temperature in Europe is going to plummet to about 25 degrees cooler. So if it's usually 80, it's going to be in the low 70s, high 60s. Between 15 to 20 degrees is how it's going to fluctuate. Now the impact of that is you're going to have shorter farming times. You're going to have shorter farming windows. You're going to have less crops being harvested, which means you're going to have less food, which means people are going to start starving. Okay? So the Little Ice Age is going to happen towards the end of period 3. And it's going to cause a huge challenge that our feudalistic society is going to have to overcome. What? Here, why don't you just jump back?
No, I can see it. Just look at me.
Okay, so Little Ice Age, 300 years of cooler temperatures. It slows down agriculture and kills part of the population. Because it's going to slow down agriculture, which means less production of food. Equals people dying and unhappy. Okay, so because of the Little Ice Age, there's a lot less people, and people are really unhappy with their setup. Okay? Alright, so before we get going from there, we're going to stop, pause. Here we go, on your whiteboard. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the country that's going to dominate Indian Ocean trade? What country is going to dominate Indian Ocean trade? Good, I got 3. 3. Max, what is it?
Netherlands or Dutch?
Netherlands. The Dutch are going to dominate Indian Ocean trade. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is one of the territories that is going to get rid of their Mongol influence? What is one major territory? Because of it, their population is going to increase. They're going to expand their borders into Siberia, and they're going to expand it into the Caucasus Mountains. Lauren? Russia. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is one of the major diseases that is going to wipe out a huge amount of the population in the Americas? As soon as they arrive, it's going to cause a huge problem. Micah?
Smallpox.
Smallpox. On your whiteboard, please tell me what major conflict is between England and France? What major conflict is between England and France directly? Good, Maya. 100 Years' War. On your whiteboard, please tell me. The 100 Years' War is going to cause a major conflict between England and France. Please tell me, who is the winner of the 100 Years' War? The winner of this war is going to advance and become a world power. What is it, Sophia? England. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the First World War? What is the First World War? It is a trade war. Patel.
7 Years' War.
7 Years' War. On your whiteboard, the Philippines are named after what country's king? You're just getting fancy.
I want the name of the country.
Yeah, I want the name of the country. She's just getting fancy. Isabella.
Thanks.
Spain. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the two most powerful. Problem is there's a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. Please tell me what is going to cause 300 years of cooler temperatures, which will change the way Europeans interact. Good, good. Aiden.
Little Ice Age.
Little Ice Age. On your whiteboard, please tell me who is going to be fighting in the 7 Years' War? What two sides are fighting in the 7 Years' War? Good. Jack.
England and the Dutch.
England and the Dutch. Russia conquers what part of the world in order to use it essentially as a place to send criminals? Because of their expansion in there, it will increase their population. They have a lot of rebellions, but eventually they do take it over. What do you got? Maya? Siberia. On your whiteboard, please tell me. The 7 Years' War is what type of war? It's being fought over control of what? It's being fought over control of what, Alexandra? Trade. There we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me. This will create the rivalry between England and France. This will create the huge rivalry between England and France, which still exists this day to a degree. Good, good. What is it, Cheyenne?
100 Years' War.
100 Years' War. Perfect. Okay, so what's going to happen is we're going to have the little ice age. It's 300 years of cooler temperature. People are dying. Feudalism is still happening during this time. So if people are dying at an incredibly large rate, okay, and there's not that much food, are peasants and serfs going to be happy or cranky?
Cranky.
They're going to be really, really cranky. So you have the little ice age, which is 300 years of really bad farming, really tough times. Then all of a sudden, which is going to be coming along the Silk Road, travels via Silk Road. Originates in China. Is the bubonic plague. Now the bubonic plague, also known as the Black Death, the Black Plague, either or, all of these are all interchangeable, okay, is going to be spreading from China all the way to Europe. Now it's going to start in China under the Mongols. The Mongols, because they made trade much safer, much more effective, and a lot faster, it's going to spread pretty quickly. Within 30 years, it's going to spread from China all the way to Europe. It is going to wipe out about 1/3 of Europe's population post Little Ice Age. The Little Ice Age comes first, which has killed off a lot of people. Then the bubonic plague comes by and kills about 1/3 of the remaining people after 300 years of tough farming. So is it a good time to be in Europe? No, it is not. So it's going to come back. Now, if everyone is dying off, so keep in mind that on your feudal contract, you have to farm and they protect you. Correct? That's the basic rights and obligations. If you're a serf or a peasant, you farm, and then the lords, the vassals, and the knights are going to protect you. Well, imagine if you don't have that much food because there's just not a lot growing, and there's a disease killing everyone. Are they able to protect you from those two things? Hello? No, they're not. Because they're not able to do it, are you going to be that happy farming and giving them most of the food and keeping very little for yourself? No, especially when your family is starving to death and you're hungry and you're sick and all those different types of things. So what's going to happen is that the peasants and the serfs are going to rebel. They're going to say, I'm not doing this for free anymore. I don't need your protection because you can't protect themselves from disease or give themselves enough food. So what they're going to do is they're going to ask for money. Is that how feudalism works, based off money? No, it's based on rights and obligations. You farm, I protect you, all those types of stuff. So do you think our lords and nobles were excited about this change? No. So what are they going to say? They're going to say, hell no! Hell no! I'm not giving you anything. So the peasants and the serfs are like, all right, I'm out. Now, what are the biggest things that's going to happen because of the bubonic plague? Your peasants and your serfs are going to leave. They don't need to be protected anymore because, frankly, most people are dead. Okay? They don't have Vikings coming in and attacking and raiding anymore because pretty much everyone's dead. So they decide to go to the city and make it out on their own. And that's exactly what happens. So, if all of your serfs and peasants are there, do your lords and nobles have anything to do? No. So feudalism falls. And that's the biggest thing that happens. During the bubonic plague, feudalism is going to fail. And all of a sudden, it's over, which means states are going to rise, which means European countries are going to rise in power and influence. Now, instead of having feudal regions and feudal territories and feudal governments, you're going to have countries. States are going to arise after the bubonic plague because feudalism doesn't work. So, out comes the bubonic plague. There's a decline in trade. Why is there a decline in trade? You can raise your hand and tell me, why is there a decline in trade? Vanessa.
They don't want to spread it.
Okay.
They don't-
A lot of people dead. Okay, but what's another big reason? What's another big reason, Max?
Because people don't trust it anymore.
Because people fear outsiders. And don't leave home. Why are they fearing outsiders and not leaving home? You can raise your hand and tell me why they're fearing outsiders. Why, Max?
Because they don't get sick.
Okay, they might get them sick, absolutely. If you're sticking with everyone in your own hometown and you're a completely isolated village, are you going to get sick?
Probably.
If you have no one going into any other villages, are you going to get sick from the bubonic plague? No, but if you have a ton of foreigners coming in and a ton of strangers coming in, outsiders, are you going to get sick?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because they're being exposed to it in many different ways. So, decline of trade, a lot of people are dead, which means you have less people willing to trade. And people are fearing outsiders and don't leave the house. Because if you leave, you're going to die. If you stay here, you won't. Decline of population. 1/3 of Europe's population dies. Okay, peasant rebellion for more money. Feudalism falls. States rise. Monarchies of countries become common. Okay? And labor shortages. No one wants to farm. Thought it would save their life. I think we can all agree, no one really wants to farm, but if you will farm, it would save your life, correct? Okay, if you thought you were going to be invaded by Vikings, you're going to be killed in the middle of the night, and your children are going to be destroyed in front of you, you would probably keep farming, correct? However, if there is an unseen murderer, which would be the bubonic plague, the disease spreading, is farming going to help you?
No.
No, going out, escaping it, doing something like that. So people get frustrated and then leave. So that's going to be the big thing. All right, so with the bubonic plague spreading, Europe is going to change fundamentally. Instead of having small regional feudal kingdoms, you're going to have larger states come out of it. When we talk about states, we're talking about France. We're not talking about Charlemagne, Carolinian Empire anymore. We're talking about the country of France. Instead of having the Holy Roman Empire, we're going to have the Germany. We're going to have France. We're going to have Switzerland. We're going to have Sweden. All of a sudden, instead of having empires, we're going to have states. Now, some states are going to become world powers because they're going to start conquering the new world and stuff like that. But you're not going to have a lot of regional attacks. Does that make sense? Up until a guy about 600 years later starts doing it, and that's a guy named Napoleon for That's going to be later. He's a weirdo. He's an anomaly. Alright, so transitioning to the Muslims. Now the Muslims are going to be kicking it, okay, in the Middle East. They still have their Persian Iconate. What is a Persian Iconate? What is the foundation of the Persian Iconate? Aiden?
Mongol ruler.
They're a Mongol ruler. Do you think the Muslims want the Mongols anymore? No, no one wants the Mongols. The Chinese don't want them anymore. They're going to shed them with the Ming Dynasty. You're going to see that the Persian of Iconate is going to be fallen by the Muslims, and of course the Russians are shaking off theirs. So, it is important to know that because of the Silk Road, they begin to push for major inventions and spreading wealth. Okay, some of the major inventions that we're going to be talking about coming up here is going to be a lot of medicine. They're going to have a huge development in math and science coming up here. They're the ones who started the astro globe, which is going to be used reading the stars, stuff like that. All of these are going to come out of the Muslim Empire. So because of the money from your Silk Road, because in the Silk Road, it's only the Muslims and the Italians making money. The Muslims refuse to sell to Germans, to English, to Dutch. They will only sell to Italians, and that is it. The Muslims refuse to buy from anyone else. No Persians, no Mongols, no one. They'll only buy from other Muslims. Because they keep it isolated, there's only two groups of people who make money off it, and who are those two groups? Italians and Muslims. And because of that, the Italians are going to start the Renaissance, which is pretty damn impressive. Would you agree? It's a great way to spend your wealth, is making all this incredible art. Okay, the Muslims are going to use it to overthrow the Mongols, and they're going to use it to advance culture and technology. So one of the big things is that they're going to spread cotton to West Africa. They're going to do it because they got the technology to realize, hey, cotton would grow in West Africa. They bring it to West Africa, and it flourishes. It's going to be the largest cash crop coming out of West Africa, besides what?
Sure.
No, sugarcane doesn't grow in Africa. Besides gold. No, bananas is important because what?
How is gold a cash crop?
It's not a cash crop, but we refer to it as a cash crop. You have to mine it and stuff like that. However, you have to have the territory in the region in order to do it. So we call it a cash crop, even though, of course, oh my God, wouldn't it be great if gold grew on trees? Oh my God, obviously it wouldn't be as valuable as it is, but we call it a cash crop just because you have to have the territory in the region. You have to be able to work the land in order to get it. Okay, so it's referred to as cash crop. They bring cotton as a cheaper, easier cash crop to grow in the region, and it's going to grow to great abundance force. West Africa is actually going to be the leader until America gets going with their cotton crops. Gunpowder. Now, gunpowder is going to be invented by the Chinese, but it is the Muslims who are going to use it to really advance their cause. Now, the Chinese use it for celebrations and last resort. How kind of them, correct? They use it for fireworks. That's their big thing. These are my fireworks. Is that going to be confusing to people who see it tomorrow? Well, when they hear this, hopefully they'll be like, oh. Okay. But the Muslims are going to use it. Use it as a very effective weapon. Okay, your Muslims are going to be the first one. The Muslims are going to convince a couple of Chinese merchants, paying them God knows how much, to smuggle gunpowder out of China. It's just like when we had what was also a state secret of China in period 1. Aiden? Bronze. Bronze is going to be a state secret. Okay, kept hidden. Gunpowder is going to be tried to be kept the same way. Which one do you think is going to sneak out faster? Gunpowder, yeah, it's really effective when you can just shoot something and, 50 feet away someone dies. I mean, that's pretty cool. So people are going to be way more interested in that than having a cool sword that I can just poke you with. You know what I mean? That you have to reshape it after so many pokes. Because bronze isn't that great of a metal. Anyway, okay, so Muslims are going to use it to keep it very effective. And that's going to be. So the Muslim Empire is also going to be trying to removing the Persian Iconates or the Mongols from their lands. They want them out. They have the money. They now have the technology. They want them out. So what we're going to have actually is a huge issue. The Muslims want them out of their homelands, but we're going to have a guy named Rabban Suma. Sure. He is a Persian icon priest. So he's a Mongolian priest who goes to Europe to ask the Europeans to help him defeat the Muslims. He's using the bias Christians have against Muslims. What a smarty pants, right? You know, it's pretty impressive. Pretty smart. It doesn't work though. However, you do get a couple thousand Christians who go and try to help them and stuff like that. But essentially it's going to fail. The Persian icon will fail. Okay? However, this guy does make a pretty couple cool attempts. Okay? He gets some European support. But do you think he really cares about the Europeans, or does he just want the Muslims gone? Hello? It's exactly like, for instance, if we all hated Lauren. Okay, and of course we don't, Lauren. But if I knew Jessica hated you more than anything, and I kind of hate you all of a sudden, I'm going to team up, become besties with Jessica, which I'd obviously be anyway, because, me and Jessica are already great friends. And I'd be like, oh my God, do you know Lauren? And Jessica's like, oh my God, I hate Lauren. And I'd be like, oh my God, I hate Lauren too, let's beat her up. And then the two of us are going to attack Lauren because two is better than one. That's what my man Rabban is trying to do. He hates the Muslims, okay? And he knows European Christians hate Muslims. We might as well work together. There's no point doing this separate. Let's try this again. And it's kind of successful, but it eventually will fall. Okay, so he is a very big name. I would make sure you know him for your toes. Okay? And he's a Persian icon or a Mongol priest who travels to Europe to ask Europeans for help. He does attract some support. However, it's not going to be enough to save him. And that's going to be the biggest thing. All right. To the boards, my darlings. To the boards. How much time do I have? 7 minutes? Perfect. All right, here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is going to cause what is an atmospheric change that'll change the way Europe farms. It'll eventually change the government structure. What is an atmospheric change that will cause farming changes as well as everything else? Good. Emily?
Little Ice Age.
Little Ice Age. On your whiteboard, please tell me what will create the rivalry between England and France? Good. Max? 100-Year War. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the first major trade war? Good. Micah? 7 Years War. On your whiteboard, please tell me what two major people benefit from the Silk Road? What two major groups of people are going to benefit from the Silk Road? One of them is going to be able to finance defeating the Persian of Ichenate, and the other one is going to finance the Renaissance. Good. Come on. I just talked about it. Good. Who are they, Isabella? Muslims and Italians, absolutely. You're going to get more of that. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is going to kill 1/3 of Europe's population? Give me its 3 names. Give me the 3 names of the thing that's going to kill 1/3 of Europe's population. Okay, mix the 2. Good. What do we got? Lauren.
Black Death, Black Plague, or Bubonic Plague.
There you go. You need to know all 3. They're interchangeable, please. Please. Black Plague, Black Death, Bubonic Plague. All right, on your whiteboard, please tell me, where does Bubonic Plague start? Good. Jack.
China.
On your whiteboard, What group of people are going to make it easier for the bubonic plague to spread along the Silk Road because of effective trading policies? Which makes it easier for it to move because trade is going to be most important. Vanessa, the Mongols. On your whiteboard, during this time, what three Mongolian empires are going to fall? What are the three Mongolian empires are going to fall? Good. Good. Come on. Good. Patel.
Persia, Russia, and China.
Persia, Russia, and China. On your whiteboard, what do we call the Persian Mongols? On your whiteboard, what do we call the Persian Mongols? Good. Come on. What do we call the Persian Mongols? What do we got? Matt, Dean. Ichanate of Persia. On your whiteboard, what do we call the Russian Mongols? Think about it. What do we call the Russian Mongols? You should know this, people. They're nice and shiny. It's not real. It is Kate Spade, though, so you know. All right, what do we got? What do you got, Lauren? Golden Horde. And what do we call our Persian? Did we do all three? Oh, what do we call the Chinese ones? There you go. Thank you, Max. What do we call the Chinese Persians? What do we call the Chinese Persians? Sophia? The Yan. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the gentleman who is going to go to Europe on behalf of the Persian Mongols, or the Persian Ichanate, and try to argue that the Europeans should help them defeat the Muslims? Good. Patel.
Roshan.
Raban. Shamua. Sure. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what was Raban Shamua's profession? Good. Come on. Good. Alex, Sandra. Priest. On your whiteboard, just say whiteboarder. Good. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what major invention is going to start in China but allow the Muslims to defeat the Persian Ichanate? Good. Maya. Gunpowder. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is two major outcomes of the bubonic plague? All right. Two major. You can do decline of trade, decline of population, peasant rebellion, and labor shortages. Good luck. I will be back for fifth period on Wednesday. If you would like to come and watch my fifth period during your lunch, you can eat your lunch in my class. You are more than welcome to sit and watch. I will be recording that. I will be going over things. Everything on my board is what you need. Remember, second period, you had blue. First period, you are red. So tomorrow, if you are watching this first period, you are writing everything in blue. Second period, everything you do tomorrow is going to be in red. Everyone good? All right. Have a great day. Thank you for your help. I will see you at 5th if you'd like. If you have any questions, let me know.